What if everything you've been taught about healing emotional pain is actually keeping you stuck in the very patterns you're trying to escape? We've been sold a dangerous myth about emotional healing, that it's about letting go, moving on, or simply thinking positive. But the deepest psychological wisdom reveals something entirely different. True healing isn't about forgetting your pain. It's about transforming your relationship with it. The wounds you carry aren't just scars. They're potential portals to a more authentic version of yourself. What if your pain contains the exact medicine your soul needs to evolve? The first truth most people miss: you cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. We're experts at distraction, filling our lives with work, relationships, and noise to avoid facing what truly hurts. But unacknowledged pain doesn't disappear. It goes underground, influencing your choices, relationships, and self-perception from the shadows. What you refuse to feel will eventually control you. Think about the patterns that repeat in your life. The same relationship dynamics playing out with different people. The same self-sabotage when success approaches. The same emotional triggers that seem irrational but feel undeniable. These aren't coincidences. They're messages from your unconscious, pointing directly to where your healing awaits. Your repetitive patterns are your soul's way of trying to complete unfinished business. The journey begins with courageous self-honesty. Not the surface-level acknowledgement that something hurts, but the deep, uncomfortable exploration of what specifically triggers you and why. What childhood experiences shaped your core beliefs about love and safety? What relationships taught you to armor your heart? What moments made you decide you weren't enough? This isn't about blaming others. It's about understanding yourself. Most people approach healing like they're cleaning a wound. They want to disinfect it, cover it up, and pretend it never happened. But emotional healing works in reverse. You must first examine the wound, understand its origin, and appreciate its purpose in your story. What wisdom might your pain be trying to deliver if you stop treating it as an enemy? Here's where conventional advice fails. Time doesn't heal wounds. Time just creates scar tissue over unprocessed emotions. Real healing requires active participation. It demands that you stop running from discomfort and start learning its language. Your pain isn't a problem to be solved. It's a teacher waiting to be heard. The transformation occurs when you stop trying to eliminate pain and start learning to alchemize it. Think of your emotional wounds as raw materials. Left unattended, they become toxic waste that poisons your life. But when you work with them consciously, they transform into fuel for growth, wisdom, and deeper connection. Your relationships serve as living mirrors of your inner landscape. The people who trigger you most intensely are often reflecting back the parts of yourself you've disowned or neglected. That critical partner? They might be echoing your own inner critic. That abandoning friend? They could be activating your deepest fear of being unworthy of love. Your outer world constantly shows you what needs attention in your inner world. This doesn't mean you should tolerate poor treatment. It means recognizing that your emotional reactions contain valuable information about where you need to heal. When someone's behavior triggers overwhelming emotion in you, that intensity often points to an older, unhealed wound being activated. Your triggers are not random. They're roadmaps to your healing. The most challenging shift in healing comes when you stop blaming external circumstances and start taking radical responsibility for your inner world. This isn't about blaming yourself for being hurt. It's about empowering yourself to heal. As long as you believe your pain is someone else's fault, you give away your power to transform it. Many people get stuck waiting for apologies, closure, or external validation that may never come. They remain prisoners of their past, hoping someone else will hand them the key to their freedom. But true liberation begins when you realize you've been holding the key all along. What would become possible if you stopped waiting for external permission to heal? The ego resists healing because healing requires change. Your ego prefers the familiar pain of known patterns to the uncertainty of transformation. It would rather be right about your suffering than vulnerable in your healing. This is why so many people cling to their pain identities. Being the wounded one feels safer than becoming someone new. Real healing isn't about returning to who you were before the pain. That person no longer exists. True healing is about integrating your experiences to become someone wiser, more compassionate, and more resilient than you could have been without them. Your broken places don't need to be hidden. They can become your most beautiful features. Think of people who've experienced profound trauma, yet emerge with incredible depth and wisdom. They didn't erase their pain. They learned to carry it differently. They transformed their suffering into strength, their wounds into wisdom, their brokenness into beauty. This isn't spiritual bypassing. It's the hard-won result of facing what hurts and finding meaning within it. The healing process follows a natural rhythm: recognition, acceptance, integration, and transformation. You can't skip steps. You must first recognize what hurts, then accept its presence without judgment, then integrate it into your understanding of yourself, and finally allow it to transform you. Which step in this process feels most challenging for you right now? Many people fail at healing because they approach it as a destination rather than a continuous process. They expect to reach a point where they never feel pain again, then feel like failures when old wounds get triggered. But healed people still feel pain. They've just developed a different relationship with it. Your emotional healing directly impacts every area of your life. When you heal your relationship with abandonment, you stop attracting partners who trigger that fear. When you heal your worthiness wounds, you stop sabotaging your success. When you heal your childhood patterns, you stop recreating them in your adult life. The most profound indicator of healing isn't the absence of pain. It's the presence of new responses to old triggers. It's pausing before reacting. It's choosing compassion over defensiveness. It's setting boundaries with love rather than building walls from fear. These subtle shifts signal that integration is occurring beneath the surface. Healing requires creating space for all parts of yourself: the wounded child, the angry adolescent, the disappointed adult. Instead of trying to eliminate these aspects, you learn to listen to them, understand their concerns, and integrate their wisdom. Your wholeness comes from embracing all of who you are, not just the socially acceptable parts. What part of yourself have you been trying to eliminate that actually needs your compassion? The journey of healing is ultimately one of coming home to yourself. It's about reclaiming the parts you abandoned when you learned they weren't welcome. It's about speaking the truths you silenced when you feared they wouldn't be accepted. It's about becoming the person you needed when you were hurting. This doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when you feel like you've made incredible progress, and others when you feel like you're back at square one. This isn't failure. It's the natural rhythm of growth. Each time you choose awareness over avoidance, you strengthen your capacity for healing. Your pain isn't evidence that you're broken. It's evidence that you're alive and capable of feeling deeply. The people who feel the most pain are often the ones with the greatest capacity for joy, connection, and meaning. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's your superpower in disguise. If you're in the midst of healing right now, please know your willingness to feel what's true, even when it's painful, is an act of profound courage. Every tear you shed waters the seeds of your transformation. Every boundary you set creates space for your authenticity. Every truth you speak strengthens your connection to yourself. What one step can you take today to honor your healing journey? I'd be deeply honored to hear about your experience in the comments below. Share one insight you've gained about emotional healing or one pattern you're learning to transform. Your story could help someone else feel less alone in their journey. If this exploration of transformative healing resonated with you, please support our community by liking this video and subscribing to Winds of Thought. Together, we're discovering how to turn our wounds into wisdom and our pain into purpose. And if you know someone navigating their own healing journey, share this with them. Sometimes the greatest healing begins with knowing we're not alone in our pain.